for his second straight season title. And our Bill Weber is the knowledgeable car guy for the Tyson Holly Farms 400.
Well, Kenny, it's been a fun week reminiscing about the nearly 50 years of wins and sins of racing here at North Wilkesboro. But this morning, this race has been stripped of its happy days mystique as teams try and build momentum for the busy month of October. Former champions like Gordon and Labonte have it. It's building for rising stars like Bobby Hamilton. And one guy looking for it is Dale Earnhardt. But this weekend, Earnhardt appears refreshed and physically fit. His sluggish Chevy is suddenly fast. And his crew, once again, very confident. If you've been waiting for the return of Dale Earnhardt, your wait may be over.
Had some awful bad luck in the last several races. It's time to get a top 5 and possible win, and it's a good place to do it.
Earnhardt and Gant are side-by-side, and Earnhardt gets the lead.
We won the first radial tire race here at Wilkesboro, so I got a lot of great memories here. It being the last race, we'd like to win it. It's time for the things to turn around for this team. This team's worked awful hard, and everybody's done a good job.
Look at that, 117.937 miles per hour.
Well, I think a lot of people are wanting to win here. You know, this is the last race here at North Wilkesboro, and so I think that's a lot of incentive. But, you know, the incentive for us right now is consistency, and we've got some momentum. We need to be able to use that and you know, hopefully come out of here with a good, strong finish. But we're always going for that win also, and we've got a good car. We've got a real strong car, qualified up front. So far, you know, the weekend's going pretty good.
And Terry Labonte wins the first Union 400.
We worked all year to get to this point. This has kind of come down to the playoffs now, and we got 5 races to go. We had a good run last week. We started off, had some trouble, kind of fought back there and wound up with a second-place finish. So, like you said, this place has been a pretty good place for us over the years, but, boy, it's tough every time you come here.
Here is Hamilton. Boy, his car owner won the most at Wilkesboro. They're going to remember who won the most and who won the last.
I think it was 3 weeks ago, was 17th in points. Now we're 11th. And 3 weeks ago, we thought we had a shot to get to 10th. Now we got a good shot to get to 6th. So bringing out new equipment, I think, is one thing. This is a new race car. It was new at Martinsville and Richmond, and it's doing a good job for us. We're carrying a new car to Charlotte and a new car to Atlanta and a new car to Phoenix. So we're hoping that we can keep the momentum going.
One problem with the short tracks, shorter fields. Ward Burton missed both Martinsville and now both North Wilkesboro races. And Dick Trickle, off the strong run last Sunday, failed to qualify here. Rain shortened final practice on Saturday afternoon to about 20 minutes, but it should be partly sunny and in the low 70s for the green flag today. Kenny?
Bill, thanks for the info. We'll see you a bit later. Now, Ted Musgrave with his 5th career pole. He also owned it in last year's race. He's joined up front, of course, by Jeff Gordon, the points leader. Bobby Hamilton on row 2 with last year's race winner here, Mark Martin. There's Ernie Irvin on row 3 at the same track where he began his Winston comeback last season. Bobby Hillen crashed his 77 car yesterday, but they fixed it all up, and he'll start outside on row 4. Rusty Wallace is on row 5, 7 of the top 10 starting spots occupied by Ford. There's Dale Earnhardt starting on row 6, trying to straighten out his season-ending run. And on down to Terry Labonte on row 8, seeking to close in on his teammate Jeff Gordon for the title. Coming up a bit later in the show, we'll hear more from those who've taken on North Wilkesboro over the years, including 10-time winner Darrell Waltrip, whose recollection is outside the oval.
Started to open the door to one of the bathrooms. Somebody on the other side said, "Go Udden." I said, "Huh?" Pulled on the door. He said, "I said, go Udden." I said, "All right, Udden." Waited a few minutes and Junior came out. He meant go to the other one, but he kept saying, "Go Udden."
Sure, the restroom behavior at North Wilkesboro has been interesting, but we will get to track memories a bit later in this show. Now, of all the pickup truck events in 2 seasons of racing, not once has a woman made the field. Cindy Peterson gave it a try at North Wilkesboro this weekend, but failed to qualify. And in all the events, not often has an outsider made it to the line first. The last non-regular driver to win was Terry Labonte in September of 1995. So in Saturday's race, we knew the winner wouldn't be a standout woman, but what about the regular guys? To that race we go. There's the points leader, Ron Hornaday Jr., looking for his 20th straight top 10 finish. Lap 78. Mike Skinner, second in points, going inside, going after Johnny Benson, and he's into the lead. Benson had the lead for the first 77 laps. Lap 156, Kenny Wallace and Dan Press, they're into each other. Nothing Press can do but spin across the track. Now lap 174, we move along. Skinner having to slow down a bit. Jack Sprague gets after him for the lead, and then Harry Gant. He's into the braking Skinner, 10-2. Both cars up into the wall. Skinner, heavy damage, but he would continue in the race. Off the restart now, lap 178. There's Skinner's damage. I want the restart. There it is. 99, Mark Martin, head inside, grabs the lead from Jack Sprague, could eat no fat. The battle then moved to second spot. Sprague, who'd fallen to third, comes back, sneaks past Benson, and regains second spot. Benson would fall down to seventh. Lap 222 on board now with Mike Bliss. Hornaday trying to pass on the inside. They touch, and Hornaday cuts his right rear tire. As a result of that, he spins, hits the wall. He'd go a lap down. He was penalized then 2 laps for passing the pace truck, and you can't do that. Ends his streak of running every lap this season. Robbie Gordon out there making his truck debut, and that wasn't what he wanted to do. Lap 241, he spins, but he keeps it going. He finished 13th. Through it all, Mark Martin in front, taking the checkered flag. His first truck win in only his second series race. Mark Martin, he's the man. He was third in his other try earlier this month at Richmond. He's the 7th different winner in 20 races held this year. Jack Sprague, he was second, then Butch Miller, Kenny Wallace, and Joe Ruttman. 4 of the top 5 were Fords. Here's the winner, Mark Martin.
I just want to thank this Exide team, Jack Roush, for giving me a chance, and Exide and Ford. We had a good truck today, and we played it smart, conserved our tires, and let it rip when it was time to go.
No shame in finishing second to Mark Martin, I tell you. We got beat by one of the best in the business, and that's pretty much a victory.
We wanted a real tight set of tires for track position if we was in the lead, but they had the tires all fixed, and it was just too tight there at the end. We couldn't get them back, but it was an unfortunate deal. I kind of got suckered on the last lap there, but we'll get them next week.
The points go like this. Since Ron Hornaday was back in 22nd on Saturday and Mike Skinner was good for 9th, Hornaday's lead now down to 91 points with 4 races to go. Jack Sprague also picked up big ground on the leader, and he has a shot to win it all as well. F1 now. Damon Hill is still looking for his first Formula One title. In the meantime, he's found his second team. The Brit is headed to TWR Aeros next season after having been fired by Williams-Renault. His new team has never won an F1 event, but Hill likes the new owner of the team, Tom Walkinshaw.
Tom has offered me a truly rewarding package, a great challenge, and I'm looking forward to working for him in the future in 1997 and over this winter. Everything this man does and everything he touches becomes a winner. So together we will be worth watching.
I thought that was a nice cutaway of Tom Walkinshaw during that. For the 5th consecutive season, Frank Williams has made a big driver move. Damon Hill joined Alain Prost in the Williams team in 1993. Prost then retired after that season. Nigel Mansell left Williams a year later for McLaren. Then McLaren got David Coulthard from Williams after last season. We're coming right back with still more racing. The drags going at it in Topeka, some of them anyway. And we will hear from Ted Musgrave. He's the leader of the field in North Wilkesboro's final Winston Cup event.
RPM Today is being brought to you by Pepto-Bismol. The one that coats is the only one you need.
And away they go at the NHRA Sears Crafts Nationals in Topeka, and it's Pro Stock Bike. Angelle Sealing coming off a win last week. She's in front in qualifying. She'll start first. 7.436, 171 and change for Angelle. Top Fuel Dragsters next. The Budman Kenny Bernstein, he's near lane against Shelly Anderson. They're racing. And it's Bernstein burning up the quarter first, 4.605. That's 311.20 miles per hour. And that's just fast. Funny car, and they're hysterical. John Force in the Castro Firebird up against Tom Hoover. And Force has already clinched the season championship, firing away here. 4.892, that's 309 miles per hour and some change. Last but not least, the Pro Stock division. Warren Johnson near lane up against Dexter Cambron. And it's Johnson. He's the man. He gets the top qualifying mark, 6.986. That's a little under 200 miles per hour. Elsewhere in Pro Stock, something that didn't go so well. Jim Epler. And they're off. And now part of his car is off, and now most of it's off. He's okay. The chute worked. So everybody out safe. The car, it's a mess. Here are your NHRA points leaders. Kenny Bernstein, the man in Top Fuel. He just did move past Blaine Johnson, the late Blaine Johnson, in points 2 weeks ago. John Force, he's already clinched funny cars, we told you. Pro Stock has Jim Yates in front of Warren Johnson. And Pro Stock Bike, Dave Schultz and John Myers, they are very tight up at the top. Coming right back with still more of RPM Today. Back with another goodbye to North Wilkesboro. Winston all done with it.
And you see how long this racetrack's been a part of NASCAR history. It means a lot, and you hate to see it go. And just when we start to figure it out a little bit, you know, they're going to take it off.
Winston Cup racing came to North Wilkesboro in October of 1949. That predates ESPN and Jeff Gordon's birthday. Not sure about Berman's birthday on that one. Anyway, a long time ago when men were men and they punched each other in the face a lot. Bob Flock was the man that opening day, getting the first of his 4 career wins. There's much to remember, and Bill Weber is the one to remind us of the many great moments from the oldest speedway on the Winston Cup circuit.
Well, Kenny, the Winston Cup Series is going to try and strengthen its aging roots and test its reach by moving to larger markets with shimmering facilities. It's cost promoters millions, but one thing they couldn't buy, the memories of the fans who love the sport and the memories of the men who live it.
I know it's going to be a sad moment for everybody when that race happens next Sunday, and as the race is over and we're all leaving and pulling out the driveway when the thing's all said and done, no matter where we end up, and knowing that we probably won't be coming back here.
This weekend, the checkered flag at North Wilkesboro will end more than just another race. The flag will bring down the curtain on nearly 50 years of the heroes and history that have molded Winston Cup racing, leaving only the treasured memories of the men and machines that have thundered through the brushy mountains. The list of winners from North Wilkesboro resembles a Hall of Fame reunion, and many can recall their own special moments that they will take with them on Sunday.
Yeah, I got a lot of good memories, I guess, and bad memories because we run so many races there. But probably the one that stands out the most is the incident with me and Bobby Allison back in 71, 72, I guess. You know, came down to the last of the race, and me and him was racing, and on the 2 or 3 laps to go, I hit him or he hit me, and then really got with it then. If it had been one more lap, neither one of the cars would have made it. That's how bad a shape they was in. So, you know, I guess as far as really getting adrenaline flowing for winning a race, I happened to win the race. That was probably the most exciting moment from my standpoint because it lasted more than just one incident or one lap.
Winning in '86, driving for Junior Johnson, knowing I was going to leave that team and move on, that was a very emotional win, a very satisfying, if you will, win because everybody knows that's Junior's, that was his territory. If you beat that 11 car at North Wilkesboro, you had accomplished something. So it was important for us to go there and win. Certainly it was important to go there and win that last race for him that I was going to drive at that racetrack. So I think emotionally and probably memorably that would be it because everybody was there and my mom and dad and Floss and we were all crying and it was a big deal. I remember that one just like it happened yesterday.
We were running really good, and I ran over something, cut a tire, and coming off of turn 4 and barely hit the wall. And the car came to a stop there, and I got it refired. I didn't go until they threw the flag because I knew that, you know, we were going to go a lap down. And so I sat there. I got trying to crank the car, got it cranked, and I sat there for a second. And he had the yellow flag in his hand. He dropped the flag, so I took off. And they didn't like it much, but that's what saved it for us, really. So I caught up on the flat tire, changed tires, and came back and won the race. Just one of those days after that point, everything went right, you know, and the car ran great for us.
I was leading the race with 1 lap to go. Jeff Bodine was right behind me. I was going into turn 1. He bumped me in the rear end, sent me up the racetrack. He took the lead, and as we come down the back straightaway, I slid right back in behind him, and I bumped him in turn 3, and shot him up the racetrack. I slid underneath him, won the race, and I looked up in the rearview mirror, and all I saw was people sliding all over the place. And then I come in victory lane, and some of Jeff's crew chief's wives hovered as I was pulling into victory lane, and they took their right hand and popped it through the window net at me. They were mad as a hornet. So there's been some real wild stuff happening in North Wilkesboro. I've won a lot of races there, and it's been a good track.
The easiest answer to that is my comeback. It was rather exciting just being back and going to the racetrack. I actually raced the Winston Cup car and the truck all at the same time, and I did a lot of testing at Wilkesboro. It was an exciting day. Probably the thing that really sticks out to my mind is when we went out to qualify. I could see people standing up, but it was unbelievable because I could hear the fans cheering me on when I was qualifying. I mean, the noise and the motor and everything didn't drown the fans out.
Always fun to go to the Holler where Benny Parsons grew up. We had a cookout every time we went to North Wilkesboro, and it was fun to see Benny and his family. They would always prepare a great meal for us. And of course, the most memorable cookout at the Holler was a time when Benny and Terry Parsons were married.
North Wilkesboro Speedway has been an old friend for a long, long time. As I said, I went there in 1948, 1949, and that's Speedway has been a part of my life ever since. And it's like, I mean, this is like the Speedway has died. And, you know, I'm going to a race and what have you, but when it's over and what have you, it may seem like a funeral.
Well, fans, everybody at ESPN is proud to have been a part of this racing tradition here at North Wilkesboro. We had a crew picture taken at the start-finish line earlier this morning, and we even had shirts made up honoring the last stand at North Wilkesboro, and it could be quite a fight. And whenever there's a tough battle, well, always keep your eye on the man in black. Kenny?
Bill, thanks for the memories, and we'll see you a bit later in this TV show. Now, you know that Winston Cup is through with North Wilkesboro, so fans in that area are now anxiously awaiting the 1997 Busch and Craftsman truck schedules to see if anything is going to be lined up. They've been racing at North Wilkesboro, as we said, since 1949, but the complete record book starts in 61. Since then, a total of 71 races have been run there. Darrell Waltrip owns the record for most consecutive wins with 5. Waltrip has 10 wins there, 5 short of Richard Petty's record. The big money winner, Dale Earnhardt, who has 31 top 10s in 35 career starts. Our Sunday driver is almost set for air, and of course, Jeff Burton will have his own comments about North Wilkesboro in a bit. But first, a question. North Wilkesboro is one of 2 current tracks that were charter members when the Winston Cup circuit began in 1949. What was the other? Puzzle your dog with this one. The question, what current track other than North Wilkesboro hosted a Winston Cup race during the inaugural 1949 season? The answer, Martinsville. Both opened as dirt tracks in 1947. Now, since 1949, there have been 99 Winston Cup events at Martinsville and 92 in North Wilkesboro. Now to the 1989 Tyson Holly Farms 400, a legendary North Wilkesboro moment.
1 more to go. Run is inside of Dale Earnhardt as they go into turn number 1, and both of them spin. Here comes Jeff Bodine, who'll come down and win the Holly Farms 400.
All right, we'll see what 1996 offers us today. More folks racing at the North Wilkesboro track in the Tyson Holly Farms 400. Dallenbach and Bobby Labonte on row 9. John Andretti tied his best season performance with a 5th last week. He's on row 12 with Ken Schrader. Dale Jarrett, 3rd in points, but starts way back on row 15 today. This here is the last of those who got in with their actual qualifying times. The rest of them, provisionals, including Jeff Bodine, who has 3 wins at this track, and Darrell Waltrip, who has won his first race at this track way back in 1977. He is at the back of the pack. It's Sunday driver time, and Jeff Burton stays with the theme of this show, which is a heartfelt goodbye to North Wilkesboro. But for young drivers, he admits there's a certain amount of good riddance. It's a tough track.
Hey everybody, welcome to the final edition of the North Wilkesboro Speedway's Winston Cup race. A lot of people are sad about it. Some people aren't so sad about it. It's very interesting to talk to different people and get their opinions. Some young drivers like myself don't have a lot of experience here, so it's a very tough racetrack for somebody like me and my brother to get hooked up here, because this is a place that experience is crucial. Some of the older guys, though, they see this as an advantage. They can take this and they can kind of beat us young guys up because we're not smart enough to know when to ease off the throttle a little bit, so they wear us out a little bit here. One of the negatives also is that it's close to Charlotte. We stayed at home last night. It took me 40 minutes to drive to the racetrack. We're replacing 2 races that the teams and the drivers and the owners can drive to with places that are way away, Texas and New Hampshire. So that's a negative. It's really interesting when you look at the whole picture how many positives and negatives. One thing for sure, the people that we know think are negatives are the people that are sitting in the rain right now in the stands at North Wilkesboro. They're very unhappy about losing it, and I don't blame them. This has been a mainstay of Winston Cup racing, but as we all know, as things change, some people, unfortunately, you have to lose something. Every week throughout the year, we've talked about the little things that make a difference at each racetrack. There are a lot of little things at North Wilkesboro that make a difference. The first one that you can see is pretty obvious. It's raining on Saturday. What that does is that shortens their practice.
And now what that does is gives experienced people more of an opportunity to go back at their records and look. People that have been successful here in the past will most likely be successful tomorrow because they have some notes and some information to lean on. Another thing that's really, really critical is when those guys look at those notes is getting the right setup. The guy that has the right setup is going to have longer tire wear. Things are going to be smoother. He's not going to spin the right rear tire. And the person that does that is going to win the very last race at North Wilkesboro Speedway.
All right, Jeff starts on row 7 today. You know, as the season goes on, he pretty much is hogging more and more airtime. See us on RPM tonight at 8 Eastern. Please watch to justify our existence. There. Here, there, today's pole sitter, Ted Musgrave, grabbed the top spot for the 5th time in his career, and then Bill Weber grabbed Ted and stuck a microphone in his face.
Kenny, Ted Musgrave on the pole for the 2nd consecutive race here in the fall at North Wilkesboro. 180 starts without a career victory. I'm sure you'd like to pick that up here.
Had to bring that one up. Yeah, we've had a pole here last year, and the car didn't work so well, and I ended up, about 20th or so. But this car seems to be working pretty good now, and we'll give it a shot. You know, there's some guys out there really running strong, but, you know, like I say, we could be a sleeper.
Some of the biggest names in racing have won at this track. This is the last chance to add your name to that list, Ted.
That's true. It's the last chance for a lot of people, but it sure would be nice, you know, for a couple of reasons, you know, being the first victory in NASCAR for me and being the last winner here at Wilkesboro, and also getting from the pole to the win and getting the Unocal money. Hey, that'd be just like heaven. What else would you want?
Okay, well, that's Ted Musgrave on the pole, plus his teammates Jeff Burton and Mark Martin in the field. They're hoping for a Roush win here at North Wilkesboro.
Bill, Ted, thank you. Now, stay wherever you are, because NASCAR Today coming up live at the bottom of the hour from North Wilkesboro one more time.